Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Chavez at M.B.S, and I wanted to do a video on the ZeroWater pitcher and the Dija pitcher. So this is the ZeroWater, and then this is the Dija, which is an alkaline water pitcher, and why it's important to use both of them together. And right now, this one has 6 weeks use on it, and this one has almost 2 months, and you can use these filters longer, about 3 months or more. You just gotta check it and see, but you can get more out of these ones. The ones that are more finicky are these ZeroWater ones, which they zero out the total dissolved solids inside the water. And I'm going to show you with the meter what that is and what is going on there. If you don't know, I'm going to show you with tap water, and then I'm going to show you with the ZeroWater, and then with the alkaline water. And we're going to be testing for two things in the water, which is the total dissolved solids, T.D.S, and the pH, so which is the alkalinity. So alright, so I'm going to start with the ZeroWater pitcher, and I'm just going to be putting this camera down and picking it up so I can use two hands at times, but you guys will be able to see what's going on. So yeah, right now I'm going to show you the I guess I'll show you the total dissolved solids inside the Zero after 6 weeks of use, which on the deal it says, you know, about 2 months, but you really got to see how much water you're using with the ZeroWater ones, because as soon as you go over, the alkalinity on them really drops and it gets acidic, and the water can start to taste funky. So make sure you really go by the 40 gallons. And if you're by yourself, using a gallon a day can be pretty easy. If you're doing cooking and whatever it is, coffee, got a coffee maker. So if you're doing coffee, cooking, drinking, you could easily do in a gallon a day. So that's more like 40 days. So right now, I mean, they last me about 6 weeks, so I'm just under, but it's close to a gallon a day. All right, so let's see what's going on here right now. I got this cup here. I'm going to use this to fill this up and show you what's going on. So let's see. So the ZeroWater. Fill up container. Take our pH meter, and then I always wash off the probe, clean it off with that water, that way it's getting that more accurate reading. So I get this so it's just about to cover where the probe is. And so this is testing for the first with the total dissolved solids. And this meter, you'll see, I'll show you here, parts per million. One part per million. That's after 6 weeks of use, and it recommends changing the ZeroWater filter after it gets to 6. But what's more important to look at, what I'm going to show you next, is the pH. So this meter does both. Look at that pH right there. That's something to take note of if you're worried about alkalinity inside your water. So see where it says pH, a little bit blurred, but that's 4.79, so it's 4.8. So that's like coffee. That's about the acidity of coffee in the water. So you have the total dissolved solids are good, but then what it does to the alkalinity toward the end, that's no good. So the next step then is to do the alkaline pitcher, which is right here. And I'll show you what that's all about right now. And you don't have to worry about the total dissolved solids with this. It's just the alkalinity, because this takes out the total dissolved solids, zeroes it out, and then now we're alkalizing it with this. So again, cleaning off the probe because I just had it in the zero water. So I'm rinsing it off to get the zero water off, and now get a more accurate reading with the Dija water filter. So this is after 6 weeks of the zero water, and then this has been almost 2 months of this filter. Like I said, you can get 3 months, maybe more, out of these filters. Just check alkalinity. This is the one you need to check on a regular basis, or after the usage. So right now we're testing for pH. So this is from this filter into here. This is after this was 4.79. When it's inside this filter now, it's going to be more towards 7. So this is around the time I change this filter, because now it's getting more on the neutral side. So it's still climbing right now. The little light turned off, but it's kind of hard to see it. Alright, so okay, it's still climbing up. There we go. So you see where it's more at 6.9. Yeah, 6.9 right there. So what I'm going to do now, so that's about neutral, because 7 is neutral. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dump out what's in this pitcher. Just emptied it out, okay? So there's nothing in the alkaline pitcher, Dija alkaline pitcher, okay? And I'm going to show you what the tap water is. I'm going to show you the total dissolved solids of the tap water. I'm going to show you the pH of it, and then I'm going to show you once it goes into a brand new filter of a zero. Make sure it's zeroed. Check the pH, and then check the pH, the alkalinity, once it goes into this pitcher, and then you're really going to see a big jump. So, all right. So just normal tap water. Rinsing out the container, and this is just a little water bottle I cut to use as a little deal here, and rinsing this off. So the meter's been rinsed, and I'll show you the total dissolved solids first. Set it to the meter. Total dissolved solids 180. Okay. So that's the T.D.S. out of the tap, 180, and we don't know what that 180 is. So we zero it out with the zero pitcher. just to make sure we're getting good clean water, because again, we just don't know what it is exactly. Okay. So here's the pH out of the tap water. The pH is good. pH is around 8, which is alkaline, so that's great. So the alkalinity with it is great, but we're just not too sure what the parts per million are, the T.D.S. So we just zero it out, and then we make sure that we make it alkaline again. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to get a new filter in here, and we're going to make sure it's 0, and then we're going to check the pH, which it will be a little bit higher with the new filter, and then once it goes in here, it'll probably be around 9 or 10, which is, that's optimum there. Let's take this out. Rinse that out. These are secure. We'll dump this out. This is the new filter. These new ones come with the little pull top, and these ones snug in like that, and gonna fill it up with some water. We're gonna let it filter through, and yeah. So I like to use these, the kombucha containers, for my little fillers. These pitchers don't fit underneath the faucet, so that works. Good stuff. So as we can see, it's filtering through pretty quickly. Sometimes it takes a little bit. Sometimes it's quick. It's kind of, for the most part, they're pretty quick. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for it to filter through at various times, but I'd say for the most part, they're pretty good. But I don't think most people know this about these, because they're really big on zeroing out the water. But the alkalinity, I mean, that's, you gotta be worried about that as well. So alright, it's just about filtered through, so I'll show you what's happening here. Put our lid on, pour some through here, rinse it out to get a more accurate reading here. Rinse off our probe. There we go. So we'll check the total dissolved solids first. Okay, so we're at 0. This is what we want to see when we first put the ZeroWater filter in. We're at 0 parts per million. 0 total dissolved solids. The water is 0, which is basically distilled water. It's clean. And so next, what we want to do is we're going to check the pH. Okay, so you see with the new filter, it's at about 7.6, 7.8, which is great. Sometimes they're at 6, sometimes 7, sometimes 8. I see them go higher as the usage starts. It's like they get rinsed, and then sometimes they're acidic, but then they become more alkaline, but then towards the end they really become acidic. So right now, and then all right, so we have a little bit of water in here, right? I'm going to pour that into this one, which I emptied, and you'll see that water with the alkalinity difference. So pour this in here. Some more water as well. Okay, I'm going to need a little bit more so I can rinse out the probe and get a more accurate reading. Pour that in. Okay, let's see what we have here. So this is the alkaline water, or this is the water from the zero pitcher into the alkaline pitcher. Should have rinsed it out, but and now we're checking the pH. So that's the pH from a new ZeroWater filter, which is zeroed out and then transferred over to the alkaline pitcher. And after, the end result is ZeroWater that is 9.5. So there you go. And these filters are a little more expensive. These are pretty cheap and they last a really good amount of time. So if you're using the ZeroWater filter and you don't know about the alkalinity, then that's a good one to know about. And if you plan on using this, then just you got to keep an eye on the pH. So these last around 6 weeks of normal use, and you just gotta watch it with the meter. So there you go.